Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware follows Rowan Kane, who has stumbled across an advertisement for a live-in nanny post. On the surface, this job sounds perfect. Great salary, beautiful Scottish Highlands, picture-perfect family, and a smart home equipped with all sorts of modern conveniences. Rowan quickly realizes she's in over her head as she finds out that the children are troubled, quick to hatred and bitterness, and it feels like not only the children, but the house are out to thwart her attempts to rein in the situation. What appeared to be a dream job turns into a nightmare, one that sees Rowan in prison accused of murdering a child. Wow, you guys, wow, another fantastic book by Ruth Ware. I have pretty much read all of her books so far. I have not read her first book though, unfortunately. It's funny that I've not read her first book. What was it, In a Dark, Dark Wood? I have not read that one, unfortunately, which is a shame, but I'm anxious to get to it since I've not been disappointed with her books just yet. And so far, I have loved all of her books. I love this book. I loved The Woman in Cabin 10. And I also love The Death of Mrs. Westaway. The only book that I've been a tad bit disappointed from Ruth Ware is The Lying Game. The Lying Game's the only one that I was like, I don't really particularly care for this one too much. But other than that book, I've loved every other book by Ruth Ware, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. Ruth Ware is definitely an author that every time she comes out with a book, I think I'm going to quickly go out and grab it and make sure I read it immediately. So, a really quick thing, you do need to know, kind of heading into this novel, the title might sound familiar. That's because this is a very loose retelling of The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. And to my shame, you guys, to my shame as an English major, I have never read The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. I've always wanted to though, but I never have. So, even though I have never read The Turn of the Screw, and I've actually never even seen any sort of adaptation for The Turn of the Screw, it's kind of one of those pop culture things. I know that The Turn of the Screw focuses on a nanny going to help out at a creepy house and some creepy children, and there's creepy things that happen, I guess. That's kind of my understanding of The Turn of the Screw. So, even though I've never read that book, I kind of knew what to expect heading into this book. You know, I knew that it was going to be about a live-in nanny. She was going to a creepy house, some creepy children. There's the story right there, you guys. So, what I particularly really loved about this book was the format. And this is a non-spoiler review of this book, but you do find out some things literally on page 1. So that's why I'm going to kind of include what I'm about to say, because it's not really a spoiler. You find out literally on page 1 that your leading female protagonist, Rowan is currently in prison, and she's been accused of murdering a child. And so the format of this book, it's her very long, lengthy letter to her lawyer, essentially. That is how you are getting this story. This is how the story is being told. It's being told through the letter to the lawyer. And yeah, you immediately know, like I said, you immediately know that she is accused of murdering a child. And so this is her attempt to essentially plead to her lawyer, hey, listen to me, let me explain my story, and you can kind of form an opinion from there if you think I'm innocent or guilty. So I love the format. I love the idea of this letter to the lawyer, and oh boy, you guys, the twists and turns of this narrative are ridiculously epic. And I think because of this format, because of the format of this being a letter, there's certain things that are being said, but other things that are being left unspoken. kind of between Rowan and her lawyer. So you, the reader, kind of have to read between the lines sometimes about what Rowan is maybe trying to say. And yeah, just the format of this narrative, it really provides for a heavy dose of twists and turns and red herrings. And seriously, the ending left me just like, wait, what? My mouth was hanging open in shock and surprise. And this is the type of book that once you get certain things revealed, because there's multiple different things that are kind of revealed through this novel, it's the type of novel that once little things are revealed, you seriously need to go back and reread certain chapters with your new perspective. Because I literally had to do that at one point. There's one key detail that's brought up kind of around the midpoint of this novel, I want to say. There's one key point that's revealed, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, that doesn't make sense. So I literally had to backtrack to a certain chapter, a conversation with some characters, and I had to rearrange certain things a little bit to kind of comprehend what was going on there. And I was like, oh, okay, I get this now. So it's one of those books that, as various different things are revealed, you have a very strong urge to be like, wait, I gotta go back. Did I misunderstand something earlier? And I love that. I was really thrilled with that, you guys. And I have seen other reviewers on Goodreads. I saw a couple other reviewers mention that they actually found this novel kind of predictable and that they figured out the ending. And I guess that's good and all. I mean, if you're the type of person that found this predictable and you figured out the ending, I guess bravo for you. I guess that's fine if that's what happened to you. But for me personally, I never figured out the ending. I never figured out the twists and turns, which I appreciated. I didn't really find this novel predictable by any means. I mean, there might have been a few little parts here and there that were kind of predictable, but in general, I felt like once I got to the conclusion, it didn't feel entirely predictable to me anyway. So I never had the ending figured out, because like I said, my mouth was hanging open in shock when I read the final chapter. And something that I'm noticing with all of Ruth Ware's books so far, all of her main characters are female, which is pretty awesome. All of her leading female protagonists, they're all very complex and complicated, and sometimes they're not very likable, but at the same time that makes them, I think, realistic and relatable, their personalities and whatnot. And I definitely really like the character of Rowan in this book. She's definitely covering some things up. She's leaving some things unspoken, but that's kind of part of the joy of reading the novel and learning some of the secrets she's hiding. Yeah, Rowan, it's like she finds this advertisement, and it's like, oh wow, this sounds like a great job opportunity. Go live in this big luxurious house which is essentially a smart home. Everything is run by like a computer pad and whatnot. You do everything on an iPad to run this house. And yeah, it has a great salary, which is ridiculous, and it's all too good to be true, essentially. And yeah, Rowan comes to this house. It's all beautiful and whatnot, all up in the Scottish Highlands. And yeah, on the surface, the family seems perfect, but she starts unraveling things about the family that's not so perfect. The children are very grumpy and moody and really vile and cruel to Rowan on occasion. Yeah, the children, I actually kind of loved to hate the children, because they did several things to Rowan that I was like, that is terrible. That is uncalled for. Children should not be doing that way or speaking to an adult that way. But I think all of the characters in this book were fantastic. Like I mentioned, Rowan as the leading female protagonist she was just great. I think out of all of Ruth Ware's protagonists, Rowan might be one of my top favorites from her books. Yeah, like I mentioned, I love to hate the children. There was a handyman in this book. His name was Jack. I liked kind of his purpose and function in the narrative. Yeah, just a very small cast of characters, really. It's a really small cast of characters, but everybody kind of serves their purpose in the overall narrative, and it's kind of like, well, who's where, who's guilty, who's innocent, what's going on here. All the characters were great. So yeah, you guys, it's safe to say that I love this book. It was freaking fantastic. I love the characters. I love the format of Rowan writing from prison, this letter to her lawyer. Yeah, the mystery elements were thrilling and exciting. The twists and turns were just so wildly unexpected. Yeah, this book never read slow or boring. It definitely moved at a really nice pace to me anyway. And yeah, I'm definitely picking up every single one of Ruth Ware's books, you guys. She has yet to, like, really disappoint me. Even though I was disappointed in some ways with The Lying Game, The Lying Game was still pretty great. You know, still a pretty good book. Still better than a lot of other mystery thrillers out there. But yeah, so far, all the books have been truly fantastic. So you guys, that's it for my review of Ruth Ware's The Turn of the Key. In the comments below, have you guys read this book? Do you plan on reading it? And yeah, if you want to talk about some spoilers, feel free to do so in the comments below, because I'm just curious how other people felt about some of the twists and turns in the book. So that's it for this review. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.